With back-to-back lightweight wins against Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway has established himself as a real player here in the title picture. And so I wanted to go through and talk about how Max Holloway would do in every single matchup against ranked lightweights. So I'm going to be splitting up these matchups into 5 different tiers. We're going to have the easy wins, the clean wins, the fight of the night wins, 50-50 fights, and then the please no tier. So just going to run through the top 15, break down the matchups, and then I'll let you know how I think the fight actually ends. Decision, finish, what round, what method. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you agree, disagree with my picks, let me hear it. But let's start off here with number 15, Grant Dawson. I'm going to put this one in the clean win tier. Now, I think the big question mark for Max Holloway and his skill set at 155 is in the grappling department. At 145, he did a pretty good job, avoiding takedowns. And if he was getting taken down, he did a great job not getting held there. But he also didn't face a ton of super elite, high-level grapplers. Volk took him down a few times. Volk is a very good grappler, but that's not his primary skill set. So how is Max Holloway going to deal with some of these bigger dudes, potential better grapplers? Grant Dawson is a very high-level grappler, great control, great back takes. In 6 of his last 7 fights, he's racked up well over 50% control time in every single one of those matchups. The dude is legitimately good, but it has been against a much lesser strength of schedule. And I do think on the feet, there's just going to be a clear difference here. Max is so much sharper, so much more dangerous, way more durable. And so I'm not going to put it in the easy win just because I think Dawson could check the grappling of Max Holloway, but I'm still going to pick Max here. And I'm going to go Max Holloway round 2 knockout. Now, I noticed when I was going through and kind of predicting these matchups, I do actually have Max winning a lot of these fights by knockout, which might seem crazy because that's, hasn't typically been his game. But I think we have seen that the power really has translated up at 155. He hurt Justin Gaethje multiple times, hurt Dustin multiple times. And also he's getting matchups now for this video, right? Outside the top 5 against some dudes with maybe some more suspect chins. So I'm going clean win, round 2 knockout here for Max Holloway. Then number 14, we have Benoit Saint Denis. I'm going to put this one in the easy win tier. Benoit's unfortunately kind of been exposed against Dustin Poirier and Renato Moicano. He can overwhelm and just fight like a marauder and just break down these dudes outside the top 15. But once he started facing that legit top 15 level of competition, he was outclassed on the feet by Dustin, faded in that matchup. He was thoroughly outgrappled by Renato Moicano. And so stylistically, Benoit's not going to go in there and overwhelm Max Holloway and make him fade. That's just not going to happen. So I think Benoit probably gasses out trying to push a pace. And I'll go Max Holloway round 3 knockout. I don't think this one is super competitive, so it will go in the easy tier. Then number 13, Michael Chandler. I'm also going to put this one in the easy win tier. I just think Chandler's mega washed at this point. He has lost 5 of his last 6. He's been finished in 3 of those. He's just not the same athlete. He can't really bank on his wrestling anymore. I think Max just uses his range, picks him apart on the feet, and I think he ends up finishing Michael Chandler in the 3rd round. So I'll go round 3 KO, easy win. Then number 12, Renato Moicano. This is also going to go in the easy win tier. Moicano's really just hit a wall against top 10 level competition at lightweight. He has very good control grappling, but he kind of lacks the consistent wrestling to get it there. So I don't really trust him to go in and really threaten Max Holloway, take him down, hold him. I just don't think he's going to get to those positions. I think Max Holloway's footwork is too clean. He also has a somewhat questionable gas tank, and I do think Holloway just outclasses him on the feet. So this is going to be another fight where I think, Max is going to warm up, bank a couple of rounds, and then I think he finds the knockout in the 3rd. So that's why it's going in the easy win tier. Then at number 11, Rafael Fiziev. I'm going to put this one in the clean win tier. I did consider putting it in the fight of the night win tier because Fiziev is a very good striker. He's proven to be very durable. But when we're looking at how he compares to Max, I feel he doesn't really have the power to truly threaten Max Holloway in terms of being able to put him away. Could he knock out Max? Sure. But he doesn't hit as hard as a Justin Gaethje or Dustin Poirier. And both of those guys were unable to, put Max out. And then I also don't trust his cardio to kind of hang in as the fight goes long. We saw him kind of fade in those Justin Gaethje matchups. Max Holloway is going to push a pace. And also, you can't even really bank on him having a lightweight frame because I think Max is going to be the way bigger guy in there. I think Fiziev's probably more of a featherweight than Max Holloway is. So I actually do think this one's going to go the distance. I have Max by decision. Also, when I'm, talking about these fights, I'm considering them to be 5-rounders. Don't think I mentioned that at the beginning, but like that's all Max Holloway is going to be fighting in at this point. So between clean win and fight of the night win, I just felt like as the fight went longer, it wasn't going to be super competitive, which is why I listed it here in the clean win tier. Then at number 10, we have Paddy Pimblett. I put this one in the fight of the night win tier. To be completely honest, I still don't know what to make of Paddy Pimblett. Like, he's very unorthodox, kind of sloppy, but he's huge for the weight class. He's a very good, explosive athlete, also has some very impressive grappling. And I think in this matchup, he's going to be willing to grapple, and that could make this one a little bit more competitive. Max is going to have to worry about the power coming back at him. So I think Paddy could have his moments in this fight. I'm still clearly going to pick Max here, but I think Max gets it done by decision. Paddy's been, pretty durable throughout his career. He has been somewhat hittable, chin up in the air, but the fact that he can get clipped with the chin up in the air and still not get knocked out, I think is a win. So I'll go fight of the night win. I think it's going to be, a fun matchup, but I still think Max Holloway pulls it out. Then number 9, Beneil Dariush. I'm going to put this one in the easy win tier. Now, Beneil's a very solid fighter. He's very well-rounded, but how does he really threaten Max Holloway in this matchup? I feel like Max's footwork, his speed is just going to cook Beneil on the feet. I don't see Beneil having a ton of grappling success. And then Beneil also just hasn't really shown like the finishing upside against top level competition. So that's not even like a massive concern of like him potentially landing a big shot and finishing Max Holloway. And then his durability has also been somewhat questionable. He was knocked out in back-to-back fights before the Renato Moicano matchup. And then even Moicano dropped him on the feet in the first round there. So I think Holloway finds a finish here. I'm going to go Max Holloway round 3 knockout. Then at number 8, we have Mateusz Gamrot, and I'm going to go with clean win. I don't think this is easy just because Gamrot is very durable. He has great grappling cardio. He's probably going to really try to push a pace, try to consistently take Max Holloway down, and I don't think Holloway's just going to cruise through him, but I also don't feel like Gamrot really has a clear path to victory. Like, yeah, he might land some takedowns, but he has really struggled to actually control guys on the ground, especially, the elites of the weight class. We know Max Holloway has elite cardio. He's not going to fade in this type of fight. And then on the feet, I just think Max Holloway is a much different level. So I'd go Max by decision, but I'm not going to say it's an easy win. Gamrot's at least going to, institute his game plan, make Max Holloway work. I think it'll be a clean win here for Max Holloway. I think like a 49-46, potential like 50-45. Then number 7, Dan Hooker. This one's going in the fight of the night win tier. This would be an awesome matchup. Striker versus striker. Hooker is also a big lightweight, 6 foot tall, 75.5-inch reach. We've seen him be very competitive, getting these dog fights against high-level opponents. Went toe-to-toe with Dustin Poirier for 5 rounds. He's been in back-to-back dog fights against Mateusz Gamrot and Jalen Turner. Now, he has been knocked out 3 times, 3 knockout losses. But you look at the situation, like one was an Arnold Allen knockout. That was round 1, him dropping down to 145. Chin was clearly not there. He got nuked by Michael Chandler, which happens. Chandler hits extremely hard. And then Edson Barbosa just completely broke him down for 3 rounds. So could Holloway hurt him, find a finish? Sure. But I also think Dan Hooker's very durable, and I think this one probably goes the distance. So I'd go Max Holloway by decision. I do think he pulls it out, but this would be a super fun fight, and it's going to be tough to just completely run through Dan Hooker, especially in a fight that's going deep. Then number 6, we just saw this fight. Actually, we'll knock out number 6 and number 4 together. Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. These are both going in the fight of the night win tiers. For Dustin Poirier, obviously we just saw that fight. I would say it was a competitive but clear Max Holloway win. You have those fights where it's one guy isn't getting completely blown out, but then you look at the scorecards and it's could have been a case for a 50-45 there. I think it probably should have been fight of the night. I know it went to Vettori Allen, but I think you had 3 fight of the night worthy matchups. Also the Kevin Holland D-Rod fight. So going in the fight of the night, W tier. And then same thing with Justin Gaethje. It was the UFC 300 fight of the night. Thought it was a clear Max Holloway win. Justin Gaethje had his moments, right? Dropped Max Holloway unofficially, but still clipped him, hurt him somewhat badly. Once again, not a complete blowout, but fun fight, still a Max Holloway win. I think if they ran both of those back, Max Holloway's still winning them. Then number 3, Charles Oliveira. I'm also going to put this in the fight of the night W tier. I do think Charles is going to come in. He is going to test Max Holloway's grappling. I think this could be interesting to like a Max Holloway, Brian Ortega fight at 145, where it was like Ortega has this elite jiu-jitsu, but does he have the wrestling to actually get the fight to the ground? I think there are the same questions for Oliveira. Now, I do think Oliveira being, more established in the weight class, I do think he's a better wrestler than Brian Ortega, but I still don't see him just like completely ragdolling Max Holloway and getting him into these really bad spots. I think on the feet, Max Holloway is the much smarter, sharper striker, but Oliveira is going to pretty much turn every fight he's in into a dogfight. Max isn't going to back away from that. I think Oliveira is going to come out, push a very high early pace. I think Max Holloway pulls away late in this fight. So if I was going to predict the result, I'd go Max Holloway round 4 knockout, but I think it would be a fight, even if it ends in a finish, that could definitely be fight of the night potential. Then the number 2 ranked fighter at lightweight, Arman Tsarukyan. I'm going to put this one in the 50-50 tier. I think this is a really interesting matchup. I think this is definitely the toughest grappling test for Max Holloway. I think Arman Tsarukyan, I believe he's very good, but we also don't have a full picture on him. Like, he has 2 ranked wins, the Beneil Dariush KO and then the Charles Oliveira split decision. Max Holloway is a much better striker. Arman's the much better grappler, but like I said, we don't have a huge sample size of how his grappling fares against, some of the elites in the weight class. How would he look against a Justin Gaethje? We saw the Charles Oliveira fight, but some of these other top guys, like, I just don't really know. So I have it as a 50-50. I would lean Max Holloway by decision, but like, who knows if Arman went out there and just had a ton of success in the wrestling department, that wouldn't shock me. So it'll go in the 50-50 tier. I think it's a really interesting matchup that we could get at some point. Honestly, potentially for a title if Ilia Topuria moves on. And then for some reason, Islam Makhachev still ranked at number 1. He's out of the weight class, so not going to talk about him. And then we have the champion, Ilia Topuria. And as you can probably guess, this is why I have the please no tier. I need Ilia to stay away from Max Holloway. He talked about it with Volk, like, we don't need to do that to Volk. We don't need to knock him out again. I feel like we should have the same thing here with Max Holloway. I actually think at this stage in Max's career, I do think he's a better 155er than 145er. Like I talked about, he has this newfound power, really can sting dudes in this weight class, but he is sacrificing some durability like we've seen, and I just don't see how this goes differently. Like, sure, maybe Max has some more sting on his punches. Maybe he has a better chance of hurting Ilia Topuria, but Ilia hits even harder at 155. Like I said, the durability isn't quite as great. I just don't really want to see this. I kind of hope we're in a spot where Max Holloway maybe takes a decent layoff, has another fight, and by the time he, has his next matchup, Ilia would have moved on and moved up to 170. That would be my goal. And then we have like Max Holloway with the potential to be the lightweight champion. So the Ilia fight, that's in the please no tier. I really don't have an interest in the rematch, even though I know Max wants it. But that is going to wrap it up for every ranked 155er. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree, disagree with me? As you can tell, I'm very high on Max Holloway and his prospects at 155 here. I think he's probably a top 3 155er, behind Ilia Topuria, right in there with Arman Tsarukyan. We saw him beat Justin Gaethje. We saw him beat Dustin Poirier. Still some questions with the grappling up at 155, but I think he's going to be in title contention here, especially if Ilia Topuria ends up moving up at some point. So let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you all for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one.